get better. So usually when people start to talk about their thoughts in that way, I notice I'm having the thought. That's where that distance comes in, because they are noticing that it's just a thought. So that's exactly how I was working with my client last night. So this is just a really simple way to start creating some distance. And there are a million other ways to do that. And then usually what I do is try to take it further. So after we've started to create some distance, I try to get the clients to connect with their values. Sometimes we've done the values work beforehand, but then I always try to tie it back in. So, what qualities of being are important to me? So, for example, for me, compassion is really important, which makes sense given my career choice. So if I'm dealing with my chronic illness and I have these chronicity thoughts and I've started to create some distance, and then I'm like reconnecting, okay, compassion is important to me. And then it's taking an action to live by those values. And a lot of people do struggle with this part as well, because sometimes when you're sick, you're very limited in what you can do. But, and these are things that you can do even if these difficult thoughts come up, even if you have difficult sensations and emotions. We can always live by our values. So if I'm going to live by my value of compassion, so even if I'm not feeling well, I'm having a bad day, I can engage in a self-compassion practice, right? I can do a loving kindness meditation. I can put a kind hand on my body, on wherever I need to infuse some compassion with. And those are very simple ways to kind of then live by your values. So that's obviously just one example. Everybody has different values. But really kind of going through that whole process, those 6 processes to help someone not just deal with their thoughts, but then still live a great life is basically the goal that I always have with clients too, because having a chronic illness is really hard. And it's, sometimes people don't have great support systems. They don't have great family support or friend support, because a lot of people just don't understand what they're going through. And so really kind of coming back to, what can you do to help yourself and to make yourself feel better? And just doing, again, these really simple things, contacting the present moment, using your noticing self, creating distance between yourself and your thoughts, accepting your experience as it is, connecting with your values, and then taking an action to live by them is a really effective way to kind of get through and live a good life. So again, the very generic example that I use, but I hope you guys get the general idea. And I just wanted to add, like, compassion and self-compassion, I think, is also really just important when it comes to chronic illness and chronic pain. So when you're noticing that you're having thoughts, really just talking to yourself in that kind way or using a kind gesture, the same way you would with a loved one who was in pain, is actually has so much evidence as being helpful in and of itself, not even considering everything else I talked about. So yeah, so that's it. If anybody has any questions.
Well, thank you so much, Kelsey, for even broadening our awareness to the idea that there's a thing called chronicity thoughts. I don't know if everyone would have been able to consider that. I think when people think of chronic illnesses or pain, they just think of the physical discomfort and not the toll that it takes on people mentally. Yeah. So thank you so much for sharing this information. And I love the idea of recognizing that, and correct me if I'm saying this wrong, the pain is not bigger than your body.
Right. Yeah.
That it is something that is going, can you say some more about that?
Yeah. So when we're talking about pain, so whether it's physical or emotional, it's inside your body, right? Like it's not external to you, it's internal, which means that it can't actually be bigger than you if it's inside you, right? Like it can't go beyond your body. And so, yeah, that's basically what I try to help people understand, is that your pain is in you and that's where it's going to stay. Right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's I think the language is is even new to me. So thank you so much for that. I love the idea of self-compassion. It's along the theme of what we've been talking about today. What would you say to someone who is experiencing chronic illness and chronic pain, but hasn't yet built up the motivation or even think they could go to a therapist to get treatment? I mean, this is, I think, a new concept for some.
Yeah, definitely. It's not something we normally think about when we're going to treat chronic illness. In fact, when I went, I didn't think about it initially either. But I noticed I was having some distress, and there was, in the clinic that I was going to, my other services, there was a psychotherapist. So I was like, oh, well, okay, I'll go check that out too. If you're not ready, that's normal. You have to kind of be ready for therapy because there's a lot of personal work involved in it. Yeah, I would just say it's okay. Like, it's normal. It's totally valid to be where you're at and to know where you're at, but that avenue is available to you if you need it. So, just kind of be open to that possibility.
And do you have any other tips to share with us for that person that is maybe dealing with a new diagnosis or dealing with a relapse of a current diagnosis, a current situation?
Yeah. So, you're allowed to grieve being ill. And I think that's something we often don't talk about. It's a bit of that disenfranchised grief, right? So yeah, absolutely grieve the loss that you have. Totally fine. And again, there is support out there if you need the support to get through that. And a lot of people do. And then just be self-compassionate about it. Really, it comes down to, using that kind gesture, or maybe doing a little meditation that's self-compassion based, because you are going to need to help yourself. You're going to have to take care of yourself. No one else can really take care of you that same way, because you're the only person you're with 24/7, 365 for your whole life, right?
And then lastly, I have a couple of friends where we talk sometimes about our family members and how we want to support them through their chronic illnesses. And we don't always know how to do that. And there's not a lot of access to family members who just want to support, because they're not going through it physically, but they're indeed going through their own experiences of grief with the person that has chronic illnesses. Do you have any recommendations for us as the family members or friends?
Yeah. So I think, first of all, just validating the experience of the person who is sick is so important. A lot of people with chronic illness feel like they're not being understood, or that their family or friends are just getting annoyed at them. So really just offering that compassion and letting them do a little bit of complaining, because they really need to, and they just need to feel that support from you. And then, like, as far as actually you finding support or resources, there's definitely, like, depending on the chronic illness, you can actually go onto the different websites for the foundations and find support through there. Maybe connecting with a support group for family members, I think, can also be really helpful. And then even if you feel like you need therapy, like, I also have some clients who they themselves don't have a chronic illness, but their partner does, or a family member does. And sometimes they feel a bit of burnout, or just like they need some extra support too. So that option is always open as well.
Thank you so much, Ms. Kelsey Harris, blogger and clinical counselor and specialist working with people who suffer with chronic illness and pain. We really appreciate the information. Good information to have for sure.
Thank you.
So for those of you that are just joining us, or you've been in and out, we are in the All About You virtual event, and the co-sponsors are LaJune Singleton and Roberta Lowe. My name is Cynthia Jones. I'm the Emcee and psychotherapist and owner of Inner Peace and Clarity Psychotherapist. And you just witnessed Kelsey Harris, who gave us some information on how to handle chronic illnesses and pain. So we are going to move to our next sponsor. We have Recovery Hair.
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing fine. I don't know if other people hear you, but I'm doing fine.
Okay, I was just making sure you can hear me. Nice to meet you. Just gonna jump into it. Yes, I'm Brittany from Recovery Hair Salon, and I specialize in healthy hair care. And I've been licensed for 12 years as a cosmetologist. And over those 12 years, I've taken a more holistic side and also a natural side to healthy hair care. And I formulated hair products to help women or men with thinning or balding, alopecia. And within those products, my clientele grew. So I am going to start off with this one. This is recovery hair oil. And so the recovery hair oil, some people use it on their edges or any thin spot that you have. And once you use it, you apply as many times or just twice daily. Once you use it, you get to see hair growth if you have the right stylist. Products help, but it also comes down to the stylist or barber that you have to help speed up your hair growth if they're practicing healthy hair care. And I also have a solid form of recovery hair butter. And the butter is used for the same effects as the oil. They all have natural ingredients and antioxidants that help fight dandruff, thinning, balding, just scalp irritations, dermatitis, eczema. And I apply those daily to my clients. And there's numerous amount of clients that I have that have their hair taken off. But again, it depends on the right stylist and the right barber, because I can give it to the person. And then if they don't have the right keys or tools, and also healthy eating plays a role. Sometimes we're quick to sell, but we don't tell them the basis on how to stimulate your hair growth. So drinking plenty of water, exercising, your stylist or barber that practices healthy hair care goes a long way. Trying to get to everything with the time that I have.
You're doing good on time.
Thank you. I also have a recovery hair butter. It's used for the skin mainly. There's different scents. There's a rose oil, chamomile, lavender, and also a scent that's just geared toward men. And those help fight if you just have severely dry skin. They have lanolin oil in it. It has grapeseed oil in it. It's not too heavy and it's light, and you don't have to constantly keep applying, because all the products that I have are very thick. So little goes a long way. You don't have to use the whole bottle. My clients use the whole bottle, but a little goes a long way. There's also benefits to it if you apply regularly. Trying to see. Just going back on the hair oil that I have, trying to promote it better. So the oil that I have, you can, I would say, sometimes the oil, if you use it too often, of course, your natural skin, it also produces oil. So you don't have to overuse it or overdo it. And to educate on healthy hair care, we do have new stylists. So jumping into that new stylist, some of us get our education from YouTube. And so everyone that don't practice healthy hair care, because first off, hair that's supposed to be clean, you're supposed to have a clean scalp. So for you to book a service, your service should start first at the shampoo bowl, not come shampooed or blow dried. That's not a part of the service. Your service should include shampoo and blow dry to effectively have a clean scalp. A clean scalp will promote hair growth, not prohibit, but promote hair growth, build new cells and follicles, and just having a clean layer to start off with. And then you also have to learn, if you're doing at-home care, to manipulate your scalp well. There's products like, I don't use petroleum-based products. You almost want to say putting grease on your hair as far as like cooking oil, because that's the same effects as putting petroleum, like Blue Magic, stuff we used to grow up with, Blue Magic, Royal Crown. That was good back then, but we can't use that not for our hair or our skin, because it clogs pores. Number one, acne, you get rosacea, dermatitis, it just clogs pores. So that will not extract hair growth. I always use natural products, especially mine. I use natural products. Stuff like, there's also a way that you can promote your hair growth being at home is my favorite. Whenever I shampoo my hair and I do a deep conditioner, I apply my oil or balm on thin areas, and most of our areas are our temples or the crown, the nape of the neck, and also which causes the thinning, because some people always, oh, Brittany, when you shampoo my hair, can you get the middle? The middle is always the sensitive area, or the temples, because we tend to sleep more on the side, so it kind of cuts off the circulation. Or there's also medication. Medication plays a big role. Blood thinners, hypertension pills, they eat your hair out very much so, which would cause the thinning in the middle or the balding or receding. So once you get your health in order, and also peace, peace will definitely go a long way of just calming yourself down, stress-free life. That can also play a role in just stressing your hair out, what you're eating, what you're drinking, what you're watching, what you're seeing. Also, I always use the church thing, the laying on of hands. If you have a stylist that's not all together and they're doing your hair, what you think your hair is going to look like, or internally. So having the right people also will help internally bring out natural beauty, but also natural beauty of your hair. I think I narrowed everything down. Yeah, but I'm open for questions.
Well, we appreciate you even being here and talking about the idea of hair and recovery at the same time. They don't always go hand in hand. Sometimes we just want to look good. We don't always think about the recovery aspect of it. What's kind of a primary question that you repeatedly hear from your clients when it comes to hair care, especially natural hair care?
Gosh, what is this? Exactly.
LaJune, we can hear you. I know you have some.
Yeah, so Brittany is my hairstylist. She's been my hairstylist since 2019, and she has done a great job because I went natural and I am not a hair person, so I don't do my own hair. As of 2020, she has been doing my hair, washing it, styling it, everything. So she just actually did my hair yesterday. So she keeps my hair healthy, and I would say buy her products. I use her oil every other day and her butter, and I like the butter because it just absorbs in your hand when you put it onto your hair. And I would definitely recommend, if you don't, personally go to her as a stylist, just buy her products. It works wonderfully because I do sleep on my right side a lot and my hair scarf comes off. So I am constantly pulling my hair scarf down, which does also break your edges. So be mindful of that. She also told me when I started to go to her, stop wearing the bonnet because the bonnet takes your hair out. Brittany, you can, talk more on that, but she definitely has helped my hair become healthier.
Yes, LaJune. So the key with the bonnet, especially with your edges, I had several clients, well, new ones that came and not existing, that had the issue with their edges. And so the first thing I asked is, are you wearing a bonnet? They say yes. So the trick with the bonnet is, for instance, I have my hair done. So of course, when you get your hair done, it's a little tight. So you have to put your scarf on and tie your hair down and then put the bonnet over it. But people tend to put their bonnet over their ears instead of covering your ears. So you have to cover your ears, because at night when you sleep, you don't know if you're a wild sleeper or you just stay in one place, or you don't know if you stay in one place, but that bonnet will shift and move. So while it's moving, you're just rubbing out your edges. And so I've seen a lot where clients, when they change the idea of just putting the bonnet over their ears and covering it, well, to cover their ears, then their hairline started filling back in. But we also have to remember the products we use. I know we all love baby hairs. So we can't keep applying edge control every day, because we're also taking out our hairline by applying edge control every day. My edges are done now, but it's not done every day because I'm working. So, and I don't want the risk. And if you already know by genetics or it's just hereditary that you have thin edges, you do not need to stress it out anymore by keep applying edge control and other products that will gunk up there. And then you have an allergic reaction to it. And then you lose your hairline or it starts spinning. So the best way to not do that is not to do your hair every day. The best form of beauty is natural. You doing the natural. I know everybody can't get on the natural train, but at least do natural products. Natural products work like mine.
All right. Thank you so much, Recovery Hair. Please put your information in the chat room. I saw someone asking about where you are located, so they want to know how to contact you. And Kelsey, I saw that you did that too. Thank you so much. I didn't get a chance to ask, but thank